What's up, guys? It's your girl Kizzy, and I'm back with another video. On this week's video, my new piece is titled #feeling. So let's get into it. Let's see what we need to hear, see what we need to know, see what I got in store. Why did I say that? I don't know. Okay, anyways, since the beginning of my healing journey, over the last 3 years, I have cried more than I feel like I ever have, and have felt a depth of emotion I never knew I was to experience. It was unbeknownst to me just how many tears I would shed and how much meaning they would carry. I know that crying is a natural experience of healing, but I was unaware of how emotional I really am at a soul level. I now know that I was always this emotional, but before, being emotional was not something that I believed was fit for me. Before, it felt like something that was always working against me, trying to break me down and make me weak. Now, it feels like something that is always wanting to work with me and create a healthier, more authentic space for me to exist. In the present, I can understand how being an emotionally intense person is a superpower and a gift, not a hindrance or a representation of how frail I am. In the past, I was never someone that gracefully felt their emotions or even relished insensitivity. I would feel my emotions, yet be resistant toward the truth they were presenting, or not feel them and run away in avoidance and denial. I see now this is because I was unaware of how safe and healthy it was for me to feel how and what I feel, and boy do I feel a whole lot, which can absolutely be overwhelming. It makes sense as to why I would think that emotions are negative or something to be afraid of. Like so many others, I didn't experience a childhood that held space for the magnitude of my emotional aptitude. And what you learn in childhood, directly or indirectly, stays with you as you become an adult until you become aware and make the necessary changes. An unfortunately normalized misconception about emotions is that they lack importance and are an inconvenience to everyday life, that they are too much and are not worthy of being seen, heard, and validated. What society has failed to recognize, though, is that emotions govern who we are. Our emotionality is an integral part of being human. Our emotions regulate how we show up in life and in relationships. This doesn't mean that feeling your emotions is going to be an easy or simple process, but it does mean that it can be rewarding and beneficial. And so it's like, yes, I do feel my emotions on a deeper level than the average person, but I've learned that it's not set up to serve as a burden to me. It's to serve as a victory in living life to the fullest and experiencing all the emotional responses it has to offer. My emotions allow me to have a wider capacity for compassion, empathy, and creativity. They grant me imagination, perceptivity, and depth that is unique to me. Does this mean there is not both a light and dark side to this aspect of me? No. But it means that this is what makes me me. A lot of times, I feel like an emotional wreck. One minute, I'm grounded in reality. The next minute, I feel like I'm drowning in my own illusions. As chaotic and messy as it can be, relieving myself of my tears feels cathartic. Feeling so happy I feel high when I'm sober feels freeing. Being able to feel every emotion at an intense level makes me feel like I'm truly alive and not just living. It's shown me that it's okay to feel so many things at one time in such elevated degrees, that you can be both sensitive and strong. It's been an adjustment for me going from being avoidant of my emotions to feeling every single one with a presence that is alive and aware. But I've learned and continue to learn to let myself cry. I reassure my inner child that I'm here for her and that I'm not going anywhere. This doesn't mean that I'm never avoidant, because that's still something I'm unlearning as an avoidant, striving for secure attachment. But it does mean that the more you normalize feeling your emotions, the more you come to understand just how necessary it is to sit with them. You begin to notice how much lighter you feel. You begin to release the weight of the world on your back. And you recognize that they don't always have to feel good, but instead of harping on that, you realize that maybe everything isn't meant to feel good. That maybe your emotions do have a higher purpose in your evolution. That maybe, just maybe, your emotions aren't as bad as they've been made to seem. Thank you. So that is my piece called #feeling, out now on deadskier.com. Deadskier.com. Go check it out, right? This piece is about feeling your emotions and understanding that your emotions are not bad, your emotions are not negative, and they're not anything that we need to be afraid of. And how, there's understanding and compassion in realizing why you may not have always felt your emotions, or why you may have or are avoidant with them, or why you have been pushing them away for so long, or creating this certain narrative around them. I feel like, as I say here, it makes sense as to why I would think that emotions are negative or something to be afraid of, because of childhood, but also societal misconceptions of emotions not being important or belonging. We don't really create spaces for our emotions to belong, because we as a society have been taught and have learned that they don't matter, that they're not relevant, that they can just kind of be pushed on the back burner. But I think what we fail to understand is our emotions govern who we are. Our emotions are part of us. If I'm not feeling good, that affects my entire day. If I'm feeling sad, that can affect my entire day if I let it, right? But if I'm not in touch with my emotions, how would I even know that I'm sad? And if I am in touch with my emotions and I know that I'm sad, how would I even know that I can choose to also have another emotion? I can be sad, but I can also be happy, right? And so it's we just don't learn about our emotions and how many can exist at one time, and how strong they can be, and how it's okay for them to be strong, and how it's okay for you to have them, and how it's okay for you to be sensitive. And as an emotionally intense person, I've come to realize, right, through my healing, I've learned and I'm learning, it's okay to be emotional, and being emotional doesn't take away from my strength or my character. You think, and we've been taught that being emotional makes you weak, being emotional makes you small, being emotional makes you frail, like I say, and fragile. And it's that's not really the truth, though. That's an illusion. And at a point, I would say, and I would argue, and it can't be argued, that it served us to not look at our emotions. It served us to be, very rigid in our emotional workings. But it's times are changing, things are changing, and I think it's just time for more normalization of feeling and expressing and owning and knowing your emotions, right? And not running away from them. For me personally, it's been an adjustment going from an avoidant attachment, striving secure, to feel my emotions all the time, And even then, all the time, there are still moments where I don't want to feel them, because emotions can hurt. When you've been taught to avoid them for so long, or that they don't matter for so long, you're ugh, they become intolerable. It almost feels like a burden to feel, or a burden to express them or sit in them. And it's I feel that translates to us being a burden. How I feel is part of me. So that then translates to me being a burden, because I feel how I feel. But it's I'm not a burden for feeling how I feel. I just feel how I feel, and it's okay to feel how I feel. But we haven't normalized feeling, right? But we need to normalize feeling. We need to normalize emotions. Because while they may hurt, they also strengthen us, While they may make us sad, they also can make us happy. And so our emotions are just very important and necessary for change in everyday life. And I think we sleep on that fact, how important it is to feel your emotions and allow yourself to feel them and express them and own them and regulate them. A lot of us don't know emotional regulation because we've never had somebody teach us how to regulate our emotions. So when we're being reactive, and we're being controlling, and we're being all these things that are on the dark side of emotions, it's well, no wonder why, because you haven't been taught how to handle it in this way, or that way, or that way, or that way. We've always just been taught to throw it away. And so when you throw away things, they show up in other ways, such as control, possession, reactivity, and things like that. So normalizing emotions and feeling creates a healthier, more safe space for us to exist as a society, but also as individuals. And I don't think we don't recognize that enough, because we don't normalize it enough, right? We don't really talk about emotions as a society. I mean, since 2020, I feel like that's when people really started talking about healing and self-love and personal development and things like that. But before then, I personally wasn't thinking about my emotions, and when I really was pushing away what they were actually telling me, and I was sitting in a victimhood. And I think that's also part of feeling your emotions, like being a victim or being a victor, being a superhero or being a villain. I am a very emotionally intense person. A lot of times, like I say, I do feel like an emotional wreck. I feel like I'm just like, oh my God, like I feel so much. Like, why is this happening? I'm overthinking. I'm overwhelmed. I can't stop thinking. I feel so sad. I am so happy. I am so grounded. I feel so euphoric. I feel so depressed. I feel so upset. I feel so angry. Like, my anger is something too that I can be scared of. But it's like, again, anger is a normal emotion, right? It's just how you express it. You just need to be provided a healthy way to express these emotions and own and live in these emotions. Does that mean the dark side of them is going to be taken away because you learn the healthy way? No, right? But there's a healthy way of going about and being with your emotions. And I don't think that I've allowed myself to really be as emotional and sensitive and vulnerable as I am, because I've been seeing it as something that makes me weak for so long, or something that makes me other than for so long, or something that makes me an op in some certain way. But it's like, I'm not an op. I'm not a problem for having emotions. I'm not a problem for feeling intensely. Like, we are here to feel. We are set on life to feel, to evolve. And that's the whole transformation of emotions, right? Like, of normalizing them and feeling them, because it really does change your life. And me going from not feeling to feeling, it's allowed me to become softer and embrace my sensitivity and my more feminine energies. And it's allowed me to open up and release and know that it's okay to have went through what I have went through and experience what I have experienced and feel how I feel. And when you begin normalizing these things, like your emotions that are such an integral part of you, you come to understand that there's nothing wrong with you or your emotions or how you feel, or that you want to cry, or that you want to fall to your knees, or that there's just nothing wrong with emotions. And I think in the society, we've got it all wrong. We've got it all wrong. Speaking of wrong, #wrong is my other piece that's on here, as well as #mistakes. So yeah, this piece is for all of my deep feelers, intense feelers, but it is also for everyone in general to know that it's okay to feel how they feel. It's okay to have emotions. It's okay to express them. It's okay to really just have emotions, and that your emotions don't make you bad or weak or crazy. They just make you a human being. Like, literally, like actually, like, you're literally just a human being. Like, you're sad, it's okay. You want to cry, it's okay. You feel vulnerable, it's okay. It's okay, right? We need more of that validation, that acceptance, that hearing and seeing and listening, versus like the arguing and the combative and the what the hell, and the judgment, right? So go ahead and check it out. #feeling on my website right now. Over the course of my healing, I have learned so much about myself, and I continue to learn so much about myself, but I've only learned it because I've allowed myself to feel my way through. And without me feeling my emotions, I don't know that I would be the person I sit here today reading this, because I wouldn't even know how to even say what I feel if I can't even feel what I feel? You know what I mean? And so let's normalize that, right? Normalize having emotions, normalize feeling emotions, validate your emotions, see your own emotions, hear your own emotions, know that they are okay, right? Know that you're not alone in feeling like you're losing your mind. You're not alone in feeling super down. You're not alone in feeling super up. You're not alone in being moody. You're not alone in being irritable. You're not alone in any of your emotional states, because we all experience them. Whether or not we are all actively talking about them, we all are experiencing these emotions. And they're valid. They're worthy of being heard, and they're worthy of having that presence. So, I love you. You got this. And I will see you next time. Bye.